hand over the floor to you. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much, Area Officer Ms. Patricia. Thank you. At the outset, let me thank the SDC team, especially the SDC Chairman, past National President, Advocate Vaman Kumar Sir, respected judges, all the senior trainers, Rakhi Ma'am, National President Rakhi Ma'am, all senior trainers, zone presidents, and my dear participants. First of all, thank you so much for accepting my invite and being here to listen to me and my session today. So without further ado, let me just get ahead to the session. Before I begin the session, all I want you to do, all of you, is to be happy, be relaxed, enjoy. Let's learn together. Let's have some fun. And the next 45 minutes, let me assure you, let's have together a good time. It's a learning journey together. So before, let's start with some questions which I don't want you to think beyond a point that, okay, why are these questions being asked? Is it like any other regular training program? We are being put through a lot of questions. Let me share something with you here. And please don't think why these questions and for what reason and what. Let's just answer, and trust me, these questions have no connection with anybody here. Nothing. It's just simple and plain questions. I hope my screen is visible to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to use your chat box. Give me as many answers as possible. It is in your answers that I get all the energy. So here comes the first question for you. Which sport do you think is most boring of all? Any sport that you think is most boring. We don't like the sport. Any sport that you think is totally boring. Come on, dear participants, I'm waiting for your answers. There are a few who are, I think chess is really boring for you. Golf is boring. All right, cricket is boring. Oh my God, where people are running mad behind cricket, and here some of us find cricket as boring. Again, somebody says cricket. All sports are interesting, wonderful. Test cricket is boring because it takes a long time. We wish we had a 2020. We need everything in a snapshot, in a capsule. All right, so we have golf, we have cricket, so many options. Thank you so much for those wonderful answers. Now, I don't mean to prove anything with these questions, but let's listen. Another one. Ladies and gentlemen, which is that one word in the dictionary which you think is most useless? Any word in the dictionary which is totally useless? Sorry is a useless word. Oh God, we taught children in kindergarten saying 3 magical words, and one is sorry and thank you and please. Useless is the most useless word. Excellent. Thank you, Senator Rakesh Nair, for that answer. Very is a useless word because we keep adding it to every other word in English language and we feel the meaning is so extrapolated. So we are so happy. Now there are a few more answers. Can we have few? Again, sorry is Vanessa. Sorry is another useless word because people don't mean it these days. I totally understand. They just say a sorry. Any other useless word in English dictionary which you feel is useless? It's totally your perception. Thank you for those lovely answers. All words are wonderful. All words are useful because they're here to communicate something. Thank you, Dr. Shibi. Here we go with our next question. I want the chat box to be filled with some emojis, some energy. Oh my God, that Sharanya, that was, I think I need to learn to pronounce that word, but thank you. And what's that one of the emojis that you use the most? We are all living in a world of texting, chatting. Which is that one emoji which we use the most? Oh, Sophie, we keep dancing. We have hearts there. Oh, yes, thumbs up. For anything and everything, we have a thumbs up ready there. We have lots of heart. We smile. We say it's beautiful. Thank you so much for those answers. We have one more question to go. Let me ask you, be honest. Let's be totally honest. If you could work on Mars and we promise you double the pay, whatsoever you're getting, would you agree? No? It's a big no. We are happy on the earth. We are so happy in the comfort level. Whatever you give, we are not doing. All right, no way that we are going to Mars, no whatsoever it is. Earth is so dear to us, our home is so dear to us. We are so happy here. Thank you so much for those wonderful answers. Now, I'm sure you all must be wondering, what are these questions all about? What does it have to be relevant about the topic for the day, which is about prioritize? How to prioritize exactly my point. None of these questions have any relevance to the topic today. We have no relevance to priorities or prioritize or priority, nothing. Exactly. Similarly, all our lives are surrounded by so many things which are so irrelevant to the vital few things which we want to take it forward, which we want to achieve in our life, which we want to realize, which we want to be successful at. But we are so much surrounded by so many distractions, so many things where we fail to prioritize. Do you agree? If we are agreeing onto it, I wish all the ladies and gentlemen to quickly type a ready there and we'll get ahead with the session. Are you all ready? Totally happy to see all of you in agreement. And I also tell you, let's disagree also. Wherever you feel like disagreeing, please feel free to tell me that, no, I don't agree to it. Let's have a talk, let's talk. And that's the whole fun. So in today's session, how are we going to take about and how are we going to go about it? I've got to tell you something. Let's talk about, why do we have to prioritize? We have heard the term prioritize for so many people. Let that be as one of the key 7 habits in Sean Covey's 7 habits of an effective leader or effective person. One of the habits that, or our mothers telling us every day in the morning, please prioritize, do it things in order, or our teacher telling us at the office. We have always learned and listened to the word prioritize, but why do we have to actually prioritize? What advantage do we get doing the prioritize unless we know the purpose why we are doing this? I'm sure, ladies and gentlemen, we'll do it for 2 or 3 days, and after that it's the same back to pavilion. So let's look at, why should we prioritize? Any change has to happen right from the mindset. So if at all we have to prioritize, we're going to look at what mindset changes should we exactly bring about. And trust me, not a single word that I'm going to talk about in today's session is something which cannot be practiced in our regular life. Trust me on that. I'm going to give you some very simple changes, which possibly you can think, okay, let me try doing it. So let's see what is the priority mindset here. Then we look at the 3 golden words of today's session, which is 3 E's, which helps you prioritize, explore, eliminate, and execute. We'll look into more. We'll discuss some of the learnings which you learned, which is your perception. Let's talk about it towards the end of the session today. So the first thing, why prioritize? Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to share an interesting incident with you all. Long back in 2007, I guess, when I started working in a research laboratory as a junior research fellow. That's how I started my career. When I started working in that a small laboratory, we had a very close team of some 10 to 15 people. So one of the executives who was working as a marketing executive, his job was, go meet clients, bring back some work, talk to people, sell the products that we were making there in the laboratory. So one Friday afternoon, I saw him totally worked up. He did not know what is to be done. He had so much of stress. Being a very new employee there, I hesitantly asked him, what happened? Why are you so worked up? He said his wife has just delivered a baby. I said, that's something very, you should be really happy about, and go have fun, go take an off. He said, no, I can't leave because I've been asked to meet a client by my boss. I have to just report there. I said, why are you sitting here and reporting to your boss? Why can't you say that you have to be there at your wife's place? Why don't you want to go? He said, I badly wanted to say, but when my boss came and asked me that there is an important client meeting, my heart said a no. but on the face, I said a yes. I said, okay. I could not persuade him to, go to his wife or go be happy with him. He finally decided, all right, I'll go to the client meeting. I said, okay, if you want to go to the client meeting. What happened after 2 days was he ended up messing up at the client meeting. What he thought was the client would be really happy, really, really happy that he has taken up work as his priority. But no, the pain, the guilt, it was very reflective on his face. And when he went there, neither did the client give him any satisfactory results, nor was he happy with his wife and the kid that day. And that guilt made him really, really, not so happy, content. And he was feeling so bad about the whole thing after 2 days and was not mentally at work. So, dear friends, one reason to prioritize, if you don't prioritize your life, there'll be someone else who will be doing it. That's where exactly I'm driving you to. So prioritizing life is very, very important. Now, let me ask you a genuine question, and it is more for you to think and tell me. I would give you some time to think. We have heard of this word prioritize. And we know that there are important things, there are unimportant things. And I'm sure most of you sitting here would have seen that quadrant where we put things that are very important, things that are urgent, things that are not urgent. We try to put up a to-do list. We try doing all these things because all of us sitting here are professionals. But there are times where we fail to prioritize. Many of us sitting here would have wanted to write a book, but in our daily life, in our daily operations, we fail to because we don't get the time to do it. Many of us sitting here would have a shelf in our bookshelf where we have to kept some books which we will read when we get some time. Many of us sitting here would have a list of things which we want to do when we get free, but it never comes to our priority list. Can someone unmute and say if we have the privilege of unmuting? Otherwise, please use your chat box and let me know why do we fail to prioritize, and trust me, your answers are going to really help the session go forward. Why do we fail to? Exactly, Uttara ma'am, thank you so much. We tend to do things which are easily done. We catch the low hanging fruit so quickly. For us, easy way out is best. Wonderful answers. Can we get it? It takes time to think. Why do we fail to prioritize? What stops us from prioritizing? Wonderful, Najib sir. Take things for granted because we think it's all easy and it comes at, and we don't, especially when it comes to our personal lives, when it comes to our family life, we take them for granted because they can always wait. Family can always wait. Many of us don't realize which is more important. We are not able to identify what is more important. Trust me, all these points are going to help the session take forward. Not much concerned about benefits. We don't know what will happen if we prioritize. Would it really help me if I prioritize? Correct. We sometimes feel we have unlimited time, and time is not within ourselves. There are people, Nina, that was a wonderful answer. Many people are connected to me. We are hyper connected. We are all living in a world that is super duper hyper connected. We don't know whom to give the priority to. Right? Is it our family? Is it our friends? Is it our association? Is it our business partner or our work? Where to give? And we are clogged with too many activities. I always tell we are visually cloyed, we are physically clogged, we are totally living in a world which is jam-packed. Sometimes we are not able to categorize on the basis of priority. Wonderful answers, all that amount to or collectively come to the answers which I'm going to give you. But I have a different take on this. I'm not sure if you all agree to it, but if I tell you that the reason why we don't prioritize is this word called success. The paradox of success is sometimes success can lead you to failure. Now, I'm sure all of you might be wondering, all the trainers so far, or anybody for that matter, would advise us to seek success, to go towards success, to plan for success. Yes, true, success is important, but sometimes the after effect of success can lead you to failure. And now, may I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, please put up your number of years of experience in your area, whichever area you are in, working in, the number of years of experience, if you could share with me through the chat box, the number of years of experience. Yes, we have 29 years, 39 years, 2 years, 10 years have been teaching. There are so many years of it. I can see you experience for so long. Yeah, exactly. I want you to go back in time a little. When you just started your career, wherever you are in, whatever point you are at, whenever you started the career, when we started, or maybe if you just started your career, you can go back and think when you were in class 12, if somebody is at the beginning of your career. But just go back in time when you started your career, you just had one goal in mind. Let's say you were an employee, just to consider all of you on the same path. Let's say you were an employee somewhere. You have the clarity of purpose. You want to be the best employee. You want to be the best team member. You want to be somebody who's successful. You want to earn your salary well. Whatever that might be, you had the clarity of purpose and you were very, very successful in that. What happened as time went on? When you were successful, when you were really standing out in your career, when people were observing you, you started becoming visible, you suddenly became that go-to person everybody would reach out to. Everybody started coming to you. Can you please do this for me? Can you please come for this? You started feeling important. Oh my God, I'm so great because people are coming to me. You started enjoying that importance, that in that due course of time, because your opportunities increased, your options increased, people started offering you, can you partner with me? Can you come out of that company and do a business with me? I'm ready to invest with you. So your opportunities are totally increasing. So when you got increased opportunities, you wanted to have it all. Not only you, we also. It's all, when I say you, it is all we together. I'm not coming from an alien world. So we wanted to enjoy all the options. We wanted to enjoy all the opportunities. And in that process, it led to total distractions from what we actually wanted. The pursuit of success can sometimes end up in a failure. That's a reality, ladies and gentlemen. Though we may not want to accept it, the human side of us does not want to accept that we are a failure. But sometimes too much of success is difficult to handle. Anywhere where, I'm not defining at what place, it need not be only popularity or publicity, but in a due course of time. There are a couple of other reasons why we don't prioritize. Many of you have beautifully summed it up for me. I would also, we are given with too many choices to choose from. People with me who were brought up, raised in their 90s, we were all raised. I think when we go to a shop or a supermarket, how many brands of toothpaste have we seen? The brands of toothpaste we have seen. Possibly we knew, toothpaste means either a Colgate or a close-up. It was easier to pick up and come. But today when we go to the market, how many brands do we see? There are n number of, I think, hundreds of the sub-brands for the main brand, and there will be thousands of toothpastes available. We are so confused on which one to pick up. And let's say health drink. I think the only health drink we all have grown up with is Complan. I'm a Complan boy. I'm a Complan girl. That's what we've heard. But today you have an n number of choices of health drinks or anything for that matter, from any product to any service. You are so pampered with choices. But what happens is it leads you to something called as decision fatigue. The more the number of choices, the lesser your ability to decide. we fail to decide, okay, what is to be done, what not to be done. And similarly, so many courses available, so many things available. The too many choices are one reason which stops us from the ability to prioritize. Another thing which we all think that you can have it all. Why can't I enjoy the best of all the worlds? Why can't I have the cake and see it too? Why can't I enjoy the cake and eat it too? So we want to have it all. Unfortunately, we live in a world where we talk about so much of employee empowerment. We want our employees to be so happy, satisfied, and living, but always be online 24 by 7 days by 365 days. You should be there online, available for us. So that's you can have it all. Another interesting thing that I would like to tell you is priority. I'm sure all the English teachers and professors who have joined us today would agree to me. The word priority, when it was added into English language, it was only singular. It was priority. But human mindset, we love growth. We love the word plural. We love it plural wherever it is. Let that be in our business, or let that be in our personal life, let that be population. Anywhere we enjoy where it is plural. Exactly, the priorities was added by us. Priority is a singular. There's only one priority. There aren't multiple priorities. That the original was always. So the notion that you can have it all would actually not be correct. So there comes the social pressure. As the choices have increased, our expectations also increases. We are everywhere. I told you earlier, we are all hyper connected. We are everywhere. We go here, we go there, we have family, we have friends, we have associations, we have clubs, we have organizations where we are a part of, and we need to satisfy everybody. A palliative care nurse was actually once asked, what do your patients tell you every time they come? She said, most of the patients tell me, I wish. They're all terminal patients, so terminally ill patients. So they tell, I wish we had a life which we lived for ourselves and we didn't have to live to satisfy people. So that's what people think towards this. So there's a lot of social pressure on us. Now come to the main part, where how to develop this priority mindset. How do we actually bring about that priority mindset? Let me ask you, how many of us have a nice wardrobe, a nice closet at home, a nice wardrobe which we organize, which we keep, a wardrobe at home? All of us, right? And how often do we go back to that wardrobe and organize it or declutter it? And what happens if we don't organize it? When we don't organize it, when we don't arrange our wardrobe, it gets cluttered with all kinds of clothes which we never use. Maybe for years and years, we haven't used the clothes which we have there lying down at some corner of our wardrobe. Priority is exactly like a wardrobe which needs to be reset quite often. We need to go back to our cupboard and how do we do it? One very important mindset change is, first thing is, please choose, because you have a power of choice. And most of the times we forget that we actually have that power of choice with us. There's a very famous experiment on learned helplessness. That means so many dogs were actually put into an electric shock. They were put into an electric shock and they were given a lever which they can press and they can come out of the shock. There were another set of dogs which were not given this. They had the lever, but the lever never worked. So when they were put into a different environment where they could actually switch from there, where they had the choice to jump to another place or another box where there was no shock, these dogs whose liver did not work, they could not even jump. It's not that they did not have the ability to jump. It's just that they had already learned, they had kept in their mind that I cannot choose. Ladies and gentlemen, please understand that we all have a power to choose. We have that invincible power of choice. At any point of time, we can choose. Cut the noise. Pretty much everything that surrounds us is a noise. Sometimes sit back, relax, and think. Most of the things which surrounds us is actually a noise. And finally, trade-off. I'm sure you all have heard of the great investment guru Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett's philosophy of investment, you know what he says? He says our investment philosophy is boundaried by lethargy. He says he's very lazy to invest in so many different things. So he only invests on things, on companies, on constructions, which he is very, very confident of, that he's sure that he would get some returns on it. So 10% investment, but 90% returns. So 90% of his investments are into very few companies, 10% of his companies. So that's how his philosophy is: pick less, but earn more. Invest into less, but earn more. So it is important to trade off certain things in life. It's okay to let go. So choose, cut the noise, and trade off. That's exactly how the priority mindset is built. Let me take you to those 3 golden E's, which will help you to do it. Explore, eliminate, execute. Again, similar to mindset, but explore. How do we explore? Another important questions, and I love the way that all of you are responding to me on the chat box. Do we get bored these days? I remember my childhood when I used to tell Amma, I'm getting bored. But do we get bored these days? So anybody getting bored at home? Do our children get bored? Sharanya gets bored. Dr. Harish doesn't. Sophie ma'am doesn't. You don't have the time to get bored, right? Exactly, Nina, you picked my words. No time to get bored. There is absolutely no time to get bored. But boredom is not a negative word. You know why? The best reason to, yeah, we always keep them engaged. Hence, kids never say that they are bored. If we are idle, we hardly sit idle. There is a beautiful book by Jerome K. Jerome, an idle man's, idle man's diary, or idle man's history. He tells how what does an idle man think. When I say explore, I mean escape. In order to focus, you need to escape to focus. How much time do we spend with ourselves? Not doing anything, neither with our gadgets, nothing. I had been once, to a school for a session like this, and I was surprised when they took me around the school. I saw a room there on which it is written, creating life, designing life, or creating life. It is a totally empty room, a total empty room. Nothing, no furnitures, nothing. You just have fans. Even I don't think fan was also there. It was just creating life or designing life. And when they wrote designing life, I asked them, what is there in the room? There was no speakers, nothing. Was it a yoga room? What is a dance room? Or what kind of room it is? I found it totally empty. They said, we gives our children some scheduled escape time. That means from their regular routine, they can come to this room, they can sit in their room and spend some time there only to think, only to get bored, only to be idle. Because when you think, we explore. When we think, when we escape for a while from all the rush around us, we think for a while. How many escapes do we have on a regular basis? We've seen, you take up the life history of any of the entrepreneurs. successful entrepreneurs, they'll definitely have a time in their slot where they think, where they escape, where they go out of their regular routines. Let's escape to focus on what exactly we need. Unless we escape, how do we know what is noise and what is not noise? When we began the session, I think Dr. Shibi mentioned here, we don't know what is important because we need to focus on what is important. Unless we think, how do we know what is important? So that's explore. Next one I would like to take you to is eliminate. Once we explore what is to be done, once we separated our vital few from the trivial many that we are always surrounded with, let's eliminate. If it isn't a clear yes, then say a clear no. Let's not go somewhere in between. Now, let me ask you, let me take you back to the time in 1970s. Okay, and if you had the opportunity to invest in one of these companies that I'm going to name, and you will have that you wanted to make a fortune out of it from your investment. The companies are IBM, Google. You have to think future, right? Google, IBM, or possibly Intel. Google, IBM, or Intel, which one would be your choice? Somewhere in 1970s, if I give you an opportunity to invest, or if you are given an opportunity to invest, which of these companies would you take up? Dr. G just says it's Google, IBM. In fact, late away in 2000s, because 70s, if you invest, we are making a fortune in, let's say, around 2000. Late in 2000s, the company that really hit high on the share in the share market and the was quite well praised of, surprisingly, was Southwest Airlines. If you look at the case studies which people do, we can actually go to Southwest Airlines and read what happened. See, airlines is actually not a business which makes a fortune. People hardly invest, but Southwest Airlines way in 2002 brought about a change in that. You know what they did? They were the first airlines who brought in this no-frill flights. They had just one strategy there. They had this one goal: we will fly people from point A to point B, nothing else. When we had all the other airlines and other hospitality industries giving them, giving people that we'll do this, we will do that, you have this frill. No business class, no frills, no air hostess coming in serving you. We will fly you from point A to point B. There were people who were actually criticizing them. Harvard Business School, the professors gave this whole thing a name called straddling. They did not want this to happen. There were so much of naysayers around, nothing worked. But Southwest Airlines emerged as, wow, their profits were really skyrocketing. We could really feel, we could see the results. In fact, many of them wanted to copy and do the same thing. Continental came back with, they wanted to do this and tried doing it, but they failed because they added on another strategy. They wanted another strategy. No, it works only one. Priority is always one. We got to have the guts to eliminate the trivial many from our lives. Southwest Airlines came up with that example. They wanted to eliminate everything. They were very clear, like Warren Buffett, we will choose only the one which is needed. And that's exactly where we come to eliminate. And your final, again, as I said, see, decision, if you look at the Latin word, the Latin origin, it literally means to cut or to kill. The word decision literally means to cut or to kill. And the final point is to execute. Unless we execute all that we learned right now or we did right now, there is no point. An idea without an execution is as good as, a dream or a desire. It will never be executed if we don't actually consciously take efforts to put that through perspective. So when it comes to execution, in a regular scenario, right, when everything is good, when everything around us is comfortable, we are good to execute. But execution becomes a task when uncertainties come, isn't it? Do you agree? Or we are good to execute if everything is comfortable in our comfort zones, we are good to execute. But the moment we have a shift in the comfort zone, or maybe something like a pandemic, or something like something unwanted happens, or not desired, or something happens, we are not so comfortable to execute all that we learned. We forget everything. And that's exactly where I'm driving you to. See, executing in uncertain times is all the more easy because your goals become very, 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 very specific. All of you must have heard of this game called, we started with, which is the most boring game. If I were to ask you, which is the most entertaining or which is the most exciting, adventurous game, I'm sure you would name the sport called Tour de France. Tour de France, what happens is the biggest challenge comes to you when you are in the mountains. In the plateau, they all together do, the team comes together, they will do it. But when they come to the mountain, it becomes really difficult. People feel that, it's absolutely difficult when it comes to the mountain. But when you ask the winners of Tour de France, they'll say, when it is in the mountains, it is much easier. Execution is much easier because you have only one goal: to survive and to sustain. So when it is uncertain, to survive and sustain becomes the goal. So executing it with excellence, cut down your priorities, automatically cut down your, not your priority, but your the noise around you, and you will be able to execute it with lots of excellence. And very important part in execution is monitoring or measurement. So when you any performance, if it has to grow, or it has to accelerate at a constant consistent speed, you have to monitor certain key points, and that's exactly what is in your hands. So ladies and gentlemen, don't forget those 3 key points: explore, eliminate, and execute. Before I conclude for an open question answer session, I would like to share, this reminds me, as I was talking about it, this reminds me of a story that I read somewhere, an incident. A father once was grieving because he had recently lost a 3-year-old daughter. So he was trying to collect all the memories of daughter, and he wanted to make a video of that whole movie, or he wanted to keep that close to his heart so that memories are always fresh, and he wanted to feel that the child is still with him. So he made the movies. He had lots of pictures, lots of videos shot when they went out together, father and daughter time, he made it all. He was watching the video again and again, but there was still something missing. He had lots of shot. They all went out with the daughter. He had lots of shot with lots of places. They were traveling, exploring. Everything was there, but still there was something missing. And finally, he found out what was missing was in the due course of his travel, in the moment of traveling, and in the excitement of watching these places, seeing these places, the father completely focused on taking everything around him, but he forgot to take the close-up shots of his own daughter, because daughter's always there is what he found. So it's always that we feel certain things which are close to us are always there. We need not take them as a priority. Ladies and gentlemen, one thing I would like to tell you is life never postpones death. Why postpone life? We all have just one life. Let's celebrate. Let's have it. Let's remove all our fears of being wrong. Let's challenge ourselves that let's make a choice. It takes a lot of guts to make a choice. Let's start saying a yes to what we really want. And may you all have a wonderful, wonderful life ahead, where we have that vital few choices that we have. We are able to prioritize, we are able to breathe before we choose to eat. Thank you so much. And it's over to you, Patricia, and we are open for questions. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sandhya ma'am. Participants, if you have any questions, you can please put it forward.
Thank you, dear participants. Thank you so much. Any
No
questions?
questions.
I'm open to any questions there. Thanks a lot.
Good evening, ma'am. Sandhya ma'am, a very good session.
Good evening.
Yeah. I would like to know how we can prioritize. There are a lot of chances. How we can prioritize.
Exactly. Those 3
Any
points.
choices?
One thing is you will have lots of choices around you. I would like to reiterate those 3 things. Please choose, please take some time off of a busy schedule once in a while, where you're actually able to think and reflect, which is exactly what exactly do I want to do. And then anything that comes to your way, which is not supporting the cause, is a clear no. See, what happens is it is either a yes, or we say, maybe I can try, or, I will see. So, okay, I will see, or maybe I can do it for you. Maybe if I do this, if ifs and buts. So, the clarity of thoughts comes when we actually either say, if we can do it, we say it a yes. If it adds on to our purpose, yes, it says a yes, else it's a clear no. And people would respect you for your commitment, is what I feel from my experience. Thank you, Zakriya sir. Hope I answered your question.
Sure. So we have to consider yes or no, not for yes, no.
Correct. That's one of the things that you can do. And see, when, letting go of certain things is not so easy. That is, saying no is not so easy. It is not so rude, but how to apply it strategically, how to execute it with professionalism is up to us.
Sandhya, hello.
Hello.
One question.
Yes, Dr. Srinath, please tell me.
All of our life's problem and priorities, are they really yes or no type questions, or it's a fuzzy type of question? So the percentage wise, sometimes we have, fuzzy. Actually, all our problems are actually based on some fuzzy. A perfect answer is not for every problem. So in those cases, what will we do?
What should be done? Correct. See, life is not just black and white. It's a mix of grays and it's a mix of shades. Totally agree. But I feel to a farther extent, the more clear we are, it all depends on clarity. See, we get into the shades of gray when we have lesser clarity on what we should be doing, or what exactly, how should we carry. And then it is not about all aspects. See, I'll give you a very classic example, Dr. Srinath. If you have a gas stove in your home, okay, consider a gas stove. There are 4 burners. The first burner is your home. Second is your business. Third is your let's say JCI. Okay, we are all a part of JCI. So let's say third burner is your JCI, and fourth burner is your hobby or your passion. And I say one of these burners you have to switch off to be successful. What would be your choice? Need not answer. I am not putting you on a cross here. Need not answer. But sometimes if life gives you a choice that going forward or moving ahead would have to be one of these choices, you have to strategically choose.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Exactly.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Hope I answered your question. Thank you, Dr. Srinath.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sandhya.
The judges, would you like to ask some questions to the trainer?
None, Patricia, but the 4 burners of the stove was a good example. Thank you. Appreciate you, Sandhya, for it.
Thank you so much, Raja sir. Thanks a lot.
Good one. Very capital indeed.
I think we have a question there by Miss Asha in the chat box. You would also have to learn to be assertive to make the right choice. That's a skill in itself. Absolutely. Asha ma'am, being assertive, whether it is making a choice, communicating the choice, or communicating an opinion, is a skill in itself and comes along with practice. Thank you for that question, Asha ma'am.
If no more questions, then I think we should come to the end of the session 1. Thank you, Sandhya ji, for a well done session. And I would also like to thank the Zone Director Training of Zone 22, JC Nidhan Krishna, who has given us a very good number of participants. We've nearly crossed 100 for this session. So thank you very much, Nidhan. And even thanks to Sandhya, who must have surely promoted this event in a way. Thank you very much, Sandhya.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Indeed, a pleasure. And thank you all for joining.